TNA man, he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry.
Yo, what's poppin'? All my peeps. It is I, your host with the most Renaissance man who always thinks he can, and your champion of the peeps, Patty Pitts, back in the yard streams for another edition of Pitts and Sara's Wrestling Show, where we take no nights off. Yeah. And by we, I mean me and the best of the West you can't forget about. Sara Marshall, what's poppin', girl?
Hey, yo.
Hello.
What's poppin'? How we doing on this Friday?
I'm excited. 'cause
Friday
it's
night.
Actually, my Friday.
Yeah, you're online with the world. I'm not. So
I'm just
It's-
glad. It's
my
been
turn.
a long week.
yeah, you've had like we've had both very hard weeks for very different reasons. And yours being legit kind of this, but in the sports world with the good old New England Patriotas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's just a lot going on for a team that people don't expect a lot from. But
We
yeah.
were at the bar last Saturday, and think of four drunk 24 or 20 like late 20s diehard Patriots fans. We were at it. There's a place called Beantown Pub. It's so much of a dive bar that they have the posters of the schedule. Like it's not like on a iPad or like it's legit the paper schedule. And we drunkenly said that the Pats would win 10 games. We had a lot of faith. However, after the recent news and the last preseason game, I don't think it's 10, but I don't think it's gonna be that bad.
I mean, I predicted 11. So
That's good for you. People are saying they're gonna take the Bear or lose to the Bears. I think that's ridiculous, but I just don't see
I
it.
think it's too early to make any predictions. Oh, by the way,
I mean, historically, yeah, you can see it. Came in the mail. Rep your shit.
I'm just gonna rep me King Canada. You know, haters, they're gonna hate, but
Good
I
job.
ain't.
I
Because
respect the ring.
that's my
General.
means. You should.
Currently.
The king.
King,
Canada.
champ.
Yeah.
Scary.
Mm.
I call him a lot of things. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Handsome.
basically subjective. I wouldn't say that.
All right.
Actually,
I would.
objectively. You know why? I take that back. I actually, when I went in to get my new haircut, which you don't like see really, I'm getting it on Monday. But when I go in to get my haircut, the inspiration actually has always been Gunther.
Yeah, I know. So
So-
don't say he's not handsome, because if he wasn't,
No,
you
I meant from an
kind of-
objective. I went the first like attractive way, but like objectively, yes, he's a very good looking dude. Like, look at him, jawline, everything.
Yeah.
All right, we are just fucking rambling about utter nonsense here. David's here in the chat with us. What's popping?
Hello.
Sara, I see that the number up top there is a lot bigger than usual, and it is because of one reason. And I'm gonna call you out a little bit. Call you out. All right. You kind of sold out.
Yeah, because I needed to. So
At least you own up to it. I love it. I love it. Just because you're right. No, at the end, jokes aside, no, it's a very good investment. But yes, you are verified now on Twitter.
I am
which means
legitimate,
that
y'all.
we can actually go live on your platform to reach more people.
Mhm.
I will keep my title here as champion of the peeps, where the peeps majority do not have premium. So we're not on that echelon. That's why you gotta be watching us really over on YouTube. If you're on Twitter right now, go to the YouTube channel, No Nights Off Show. All right, we have more than just live streams. clips of us talking. We have shorts, and then even some like video game stuff of like W2K, which I just came back from. Oh, go check it out if you're watching on Sara's Twitter right now, and interact with those peeps over there. 'Cause we have some loyal peeps that tune in for the Raw Rewind. People are asking about the SmackDown breakdown again. Like, kind of happy about it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of happy about it. So I want to keep talking about things that make me happy, and I know you do too, Sara. After your long week, so I think, you know what? Let's just go right into my favorite segment of the week.
Don't be a lemon, be a rosebud.
Don't be a lemon, Sara. Be a rosebud. It is our lemon and rosebuds of the week. For anyone who is new here, welcome. Lemon and rosebuds are our favorite and least favorite thing that we saw in wrestling all week. Doesn't matter if it's WWE, AEW, TNA, just a tweet. It doesn't matter. But the one thing in wrestling that gave us the strongest emotion, both positively and negatively. And Sara, because I have been royal rambling a little bit too long here, give us your rosebud of the week.
Well, the video interview between Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton, I would say, in its entirety, is my rosebud of the week. I think that Cody, I mean, I don't know the reason behind it, but whatever the reason is for him to do the What Do You Want to Talk About series on the WWE YouTube channel, he's done a really good job with the interviews that he's been doing. And I've just been impressed because I feel that the interviews go beyond the typical wrestler interview, like it's not just about the same old things that you hear. And so I was really excited when I saw that Randy was the next guest, because we know how far back their history goes and how big of a legacy fangirl rat I was.
The new day.
Yes. So,
new generation.
Hearing them talk about that and like them getting emotional and stuff was just really cool to see. But I think one of my favorite parts of the entire thing was Cody. I mean, he wasn't going around the bush to say that Randy is going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, and Randy trying to be the humble guy that he is, acting like that's not a thing. And I'm like, come on. I get it, Randy. But come on. And the question was, who would you want to induct you into the Hall of Fame? Like, if you had to choose right now. And he chose John Cena. And so that just made me really excited, because I feel John Cena has actually inducted, a handful of
lot of people. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he's done it quite a bit.
But I don't know how many of them have been as connected to him the way that Randy is. And, Randy was saying exactly why he would want him. It's like, other than praising him for being such a good speaker and killing every single time that he's ever inducted somebody. It's like, but they were coming up around at the same time. They were
the AEW together.
Yes. And then when they got into WWE, they were basically the top babyface and the top heel, like the faces of the company throughout their entire careers, until Cena decided that he was going to go and pursue other things. So I really hope that this is what ends up happening. And of course, Randy can change his mind, because we know he just signed a 5-year contract extension with WWE. So it's not going to happen until after that. And Cena doesn't have to agree, but I'm sure I don't see why he wouldn't. But
he would.
I really hope it happens, because I feel, other than maybe, Randy's dad or something, there's really no one I feel that would better induct him than John.
I only give one better answer, is Triple H himself. It's the only other person I could think of other than John Cena. Triple H, yeah, that's great. If it's not John Cena, who else? Then it's the easy answer is Triple H. But John Cena is such a good answer, because it's not like Triple H, where there was a mentor thing, and he pretty much raised him and what he's became. They went through it together. That's different. Like your closest friend, confidant inducting you into a Hall of Fame is a special moment that you can't be replicated.
Well, and he mentions Triple H too, being like, of course, Triple H and Ric Flair were
Batista,
big parts. Well, he didn't say Batista, but they were big parts of his career.
Drax.
But he said that he felt like he learned the most from John because it wasn't just, they were working together and stuff like that. He taught him like the smaller details of wrestling that people don't teach you, or you know what I mean? Like he even mentioned one of the biggest things was just like what to do in a match and how to take advantage of the moment and like wait for the crowd's reaction.
Yeah.
Eat off that. Like those types of details he was saying is stuff that John taught him. So I don't know. I think it would be almost like a missed opportunity for them to not do that. But he did say that he doesn't want to be put into the Hall of Fame until he calls it a career. So we still have at least a handful of years left until that happens. But I think that that's something to look forward to that makes his inevitable retirement like not as sad. You know what I mean?
No, he's still gonna go. He still loves it. If you watch, not if you did watch the interview, but for the peeps who didn't, if you watch that interview, you can tell that he still just wants to have fun. Like he's just in that stage of his career where he wants to go out there, do his thing, and then watch the next generation take over. It's really a nice place to be. So I do agree with you that that was one of the better things I saw in wrestling this week. Staying on the same subject though, I love the MJF stuff that's going on with the English promotions and how they're building up All In. And MJF is one of, obviously generational talent, but more special talents in the wrestling industry right now. Because this interview, one, it is apples and oranges to Randy Orton, Cody Rhodes. I mean, this one was very Cody was very emotional and all that.
MJF is never not in character.
Circle gets the square. It's never it's always MJF at all times. And there's little glimpses where you do get, who he really is when he talks about certain things that I've tried to pick up on. But for the most part, like he is out there. He has a mission when he goes into that interview of what he's going to bring up and treats it like a promo.
Yeah.
I mean, there was this one where he did with two guys, Wrestle Talks, I think it is. I like them. They're pretty cool. Where he goes in on how they, are aggregates and prey on their downfall and all this stuff, and was like giving them jabs. And I mean, he's not wrong, but then again, he also says that's how you make your money. Like he doesn't like, he respects the game, but he's gonna call you out on your bullshit. It's so it's so entertaining to watch because it does blur the lines. I mean, of reality and kayfabe, whatever. And honestly, I am more excited for his match against Ospreay in the event as a whole by him doing it. He's probably the best thing going in AEW right now is MJF.
Yeah.
Well,
it's like that's not shocking, And
yeah.
you saw Adam Cole is going to be able to start practicing in ring again.
Just got cleared for in-ring training. Let's go. That's another Rosebud added to the list. Oh, like I love Adam Cole. If there was a world where we could get him back to WWE, not gonna happen though. But he's so good.
Why do you think it won't happen? I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just curious.
No, I know. I'm trying to think of a good answer for you.
Because the guy that booked him really well is now in charge. I think that changes things.
Oh, it definitely does. That's why it potentially. But my thinking is, I feel Tony Khan sees him as a main eventer, and he's with his buddies in the Undisputed Kingdom, or whatever you want to call it. It's a comfortable place for him.
Yeah.
However, you kind of talk me out of it, Sarah.
I think it's like a
It's
it's like a similar
tough.
situation, I would say, to MJF, but different just because Adam Cole was in NXT. Obviously, MJF hasn't been. But I do think that I mean, for right now, it makes sense for Cole to stay in AEW because all his friends are there. His wife or fiance, whatever she is still there. So it's like, you know, the travel schedule is not nearly as exhausting as it is in WWE. So like, I get it, right? And he's going to be continue to be featured as a main guy. And as much as you want to believe that that would happen in WWE, it's not a guarantee, even with Triple H, you know, like we talk about how many good things Triple H has done since he took things over, but he's also messed some things up, I would say. So
he's messed up some.
Yeah, it's like I would love to see Adam Cole back in WWE because we never got to see him on Raw or SmackDown. You know, like he was such a big deal in NXT. He was such a big deal from the beginning because the signing of Adam Cole was like, holy what? You know, like because he was like the biggest indie name. And so for WWE to have signed him to NXT was a big deal. Then they treated him like the big deal that he was. And then because you knew that if he were ever to be called up to the main roster, that Vince would not treat him the same way.
Exactly.
I didn't blame him for leaving, but it did feel like we got gypped. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't mean like I said, I supported what he did. I don't blame him for leaving, but it is one of those situations where you feel like, oh man, like if only we could see that one day, you know? And like that is hard to rule out completely. Only because, you know, they say never. You know, I mean, we can even talk about CM Punk. We never thought CM Punk would come back, and here he is. I mean, that's a very different situation, but I wouldn't be surprised if Adam does end up becoming like super loyal to AEW. I could see him being one of those that like doesn't ever go back, you know? So I don't know. I wouldn't say it won't ever happen, but I feel like it would be one of those situations similarly to MJF. Like if it didn't ever happen, it would always be a like, what if, you know, for I think most wrestling fans, not just WWE fans, I think wrestling.
No, that's a wrestling fan. That's a wrestling fan.
Yeah.
What if? And
well, just because there are some AEW tribalists that were like, I wouldn't care. Yeah, you would, because you would love to see Adam Cole featured on a WrestleMania. Stop. Like,
oh my god, see, I need to see that.
It's like you don't have to be a WWE fan to recognize how humongous WrestleMania is. You know what I mean? So it's like
it's bigger than the Super Bowl, Sarah.
It's bigger than everything. Like that is the epitome of every childhood dream to become a wrestler. They all want to go to WrestleMania, no matter if you ever go to WWE or not. That is always the dream. So like to act like you wouldn't want to see Adam Cole at a WrestleMania is just whatever. But
main event night 3 of a buy one get one half off.
Can you imagine?
I do love that line though.
Ugh.
That's insane. My lemon of the week is kind of staying with the AEW train a little bit here. I'm just sick and tired of hearing Tony Khan talking about WWE and contract tampering. It's just annoying.
Who is he talking about?
Is there any? They were asking about something. I just saw it, and I don't want to know more about it. You know what I mean? This type of thing. It's like, well, if you want to know more about it, why don't you read it? I don't want to. That's the problem. Okay, I don't want to read more into it because at the end of the day, it happens everywhere. 1, 2, you're probably doing it and not even realizing it, and you're just covering your own tracks.
He realizes it. He just doesn't care.
That's my point. Everyone's a hypocrite at the end of the day. And 3, it doesn't matter. Like, you want to work eventually, the goal, I think personally, you said you wanted to potentially do business with them, okay? That you did say when someone asked, "Would you ever?" And you said, "Yes, we've been talking." Oh, that so you made up one lie there. But wouldn't you want to do business one day with them so you could put on that, and then you're gonna go and say stuff like this? Like you can't. Like stop talking.
Mhm.
Basically, the whole purpose of this little rant that I'm trying to go on is just stop talking. Like short, sweet, and to the point, Tony. We don't need the whole runaround. It doesn't matter. It's only hurting at the end of the day. Just short, sweet, to the point. All right. Do we
I just
need media
always
training?
I wonder where his PR people are. I feel like he doesn't have them. That's the
Trying,
problem. It's like he doesn't have
sulking.
anybody telling him like, "No, don't say that." He thinks that because he's the boss. It's the same situation with Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon will go out there and say whatever and you're like, "Oh my god, what are we doing? Like what are you saying? Why? Why?" And it feels like that's the same thing with Tony. It's just like I'm the boss so I can say and do whatever I want. And he keeps making headlines for all the wrong reasons, but I guess he's probably someone who doesn't care. Like if they're talking about you, then
Yeah, it's
that's all that
very.
matters.
As
So
someone who had to deal with this type of thing, but on a very, very minor scale with collegiate athletes, you you really got to train them for certain things because you really got to hammer home that they can ask anything and they're going to ask anything. So really think before you say something and always keep the brand first. Like, like don't feed into it. And it's just like, what? You're feeding into it and then asking for seconds. Like,
mhm.
it makes no sense. And the problem, and you, it sounds like a very anti AEW rant or a rant coming from a very anti AEW person. I love the product right now. I think it's awesome. But the problem is that I want to see it grow, but also know that if you keep making statements like this, it's not going to, and it's only going to hurt your business. So I'm trying to help. Okay.
Well, there's a difference
But I
between
can't.
like being anti-company and just like criticizing like stupid behavior. Like that's just what you're doing. Tony Khan is being ridiculous, but that doesn't mean that you don't appreciate the company, you know.
We have to hammer that home for the peeps. All these fickle pickles out there. That's how I'm gonna end it with always and will forever be my lemon. The fickle pickles. Sarah, with that. Oh, I have power. What's your lemon? What are you not liking? Girl, what are you not liking?
So part of the impulsive episode with Daddy Dom, Logan was talking about when he was going to become a full timer in WWE. And if you ask some people, that was going to be when he became United States champion. That was going to be this year because he's even said it, like he's claimed it before. But in this most recent interview, he said that he's shooting for next year. He really wants to like do it all. And when asked for some sort of clarification, Dom asked, like, do you mean like TV and like PLEs and live events? And he said live events. So that basically means house shows. Like, and so to me, it's just frustrating because I get how naturally gifted he is in wrestling, and I wouldn't say that seeing his matches have not been entertaining. I'd be lying if I said like I haven't sat there and watched
Mm-hmm.
them, been like, wow, okay, this is crazy. I can't believe he's doing this, blah, 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 blah. The problem that I have is that he's had this mindset, and yet they still put a title on him. And it's like it was such a waste. Like especially when we're thinking about SummerSlam, because SummerSlam just passed. Think about last year's SummerSlam, where everybody was so upset that LA Knight wasn't on the card. And the fact that they went bananas over this man winning a Slim Jim Battle Royal. You know what I mean? It's like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, well, when they eventually decided to put the title on Logan Paul, that could have easily been when they put it on LA Knight instead. Like if Logan had no intention of being a full-timer or even showing up at all, It's like what a wasted opportunity that was for him to be a champion, you know? I mean, I guess the only good thing is no one's really going to ever remember that he was a United States champion because his reign is so forgettable. Like you don't it's not
You
going to
don't.
be acknowledged in a year, you know?
No, it won't be acknowledged by like wrestling fans. No,
Yeah.
it won't.
So I just hope that with him putting this out there,
Mhm.
you know, that WWE will act accordingly. Like, do not just give him another title shot. Stop giving him these big matches because if he's not planning to be there, then what are we doing? There are people who are there every single week busting their ass to just get on TV. But this guy will show up once every 3 months and you decide to give him a world heavyweight title world heavyweight title match. You give him the main event in Saudi. You do this, you do that. It's like, come on. And I don't even believe that he'll be a full timer next year because, as we were saying before we went live, he's having a baby. I find it very hard to believe that he'll ever become a full timer. I don't see that happening. Because the schedule is crazy and he's already has his hands in so many different business ventures right now. Like I don't think he'll be able to dedicate the time and energy and training that it takes to be a full-time wrestler. So it's like
Mhm.
let's just call it what it is. You're going to be a part-timer. You just kind of want to like dabble in wrestling. Maybe you grew up a fan, which he didn't, but you know what I mean? It's like maybe you wanted to try this out. Now you can check it off your bucket list. That's fine. But like, let's not do more than that. Let's just accept it for what it is and just book him as if he's a part timer. I think that's the most appropriate way to approach it, honestly.
I think doing house shows is a good step in the right direction for him, though, to be more part
But
of the locker room and feel that because he could just say, "No, I'm only on live shows." But to do house shows, that's a different type of show. If you're in WWE, that is a whole different type
I
of
think
show.
that he should also be showing up for SmackDowns, though. It's like you can't like no one's going to care if he just shows up on a Saturday live event. You know, like do
I
do
disagree.
some SmackDowns too. Like
Yeah, do some SmackDowns if there's something, but the problem is that the way we view like wrestling fans and we're talking about him really is that we want to see him be a full-timer, but we also kind of don't because we want to see other people get the opportunity.
yeah.
So
Well,
like his best bet is to be a part-timer.
I think that my thing is if he's going to be a full timer, I can get to a point where I'm like, okay, fine, he's a full timer, he's on TV, he's doing this, he's doing that. It makes sense for him to get this match or to get that spot, whatever. But it's when you're a part timer and you only want to show up when the paycheck is the biggest. That's when I have the problem because then you're like, that's when you're really taking opportunities away from people. If you're on the road or you're working hard and you're on SmackDown every week, whatever, like that, at least I can be like, okay, well, he's earned it, you know? But when you just show up in time for the Royal Rumble or for the Saudi show or for, WrestleMania, it's like, yeah, that's not cool. You literally show up 2 weeks before WrestleMania and you're handed a match. Like, what are we doing? There's plenty of people who weren't on the WrestleMania card who should have been on the WrestleMania card this year, but instead they put Logan there. It's like, okay, whatever.
And time will tell. We will have to see about that. Yeah, no comments. That's tough. All right, let's go see what's going on around the Wrestleverse, Sarah, because it's been a wild week for wrestling across all promotions, really. Um, I mean, I didn't realize it's 11 days till All In. Okay, we just are coming off SummerSlam, gearing up for Bash in Berlin. Now it's some matches, this week, and then TNA. TNA's cooking not only with their relationship with NXT, but I mean they put on a banger match. I fell asleep during it last night. I'm kind of pissed. I actually am really pissed myself. Nick Nemeth versus Josh Alexander.
Mm-hmm.
I did want to watch that, which kind of pissed. I'm probably gonna watch it. I don't know at some point, but it's cooking. So we need to talk about it, and we need to get on the Magic School Bus. Did you ever watch that as a?
Mm-hmm.
What's the craziest show?
They have a
That was
new
just-
one where it's like Miss
They have a new
Frizzle's
one?
daughter, I think.
No shit, really?
I think so. Yeah.
That show that was the best when they get the TV rolling into the
Mm-hmm.
classroom,
Mm-hmm.
just throwing them out of school bus. Oh God, when life was simpler. All right, so we did talk about the other elite, the other promotion, the elite company. AEW All In. There is 11 days at Wembley Stadium, and 8 matches have been confirmed. And while I get those 8 matches pulled up here, Sarah, so that I can announce them to the peeps, I actually had a thought. I want you to watch All In.
When is it?
It is 11 days from now. I am going to find the correct date.
It's on a weekday.
No. It's on a weekend. It's on August 25th.
Oh, it depends on what
Oh.
time because the Patriots play.
Yeah, I'm also going to a concert. We're supposed to. Okay. So we have right now announced.
So it's 9 days because it's Friday, by the way.
Yeah, you're right. It is 9 days.
That's why I was saying 11 days puts us on like a Tuesday. I'm like, what?
Yeah. So the matches right now announced are Swerve Strickland versus Bryan Danielson, title versus career. Women's World Championship match, Mariah May versus Toni Storm. MJF versus Will Ospreay for the American Championship. CEO versus DMD
That's
for
gonna
the
be
TBS.
gonna be a hot mess.
I
Hot mess of a match.
really hope Britt Baker wins. That's
It's
all
gonna be
I
a
need to
hot
say.
mess.
We have a coffin match between Jack Perry and Darby Allin.
That's like my
I-
worst nightmare. That's my
I know.
personal
I
hell.
literally no, but here's the thing: everything was going great for you to watch and like get you excited for it, and then the coffin. Oh God! And this next one does not go well either. For the World Championship match, Chris Jericho versus Hook.
Yeah,
If Hook
that's
loses, he can't challenge Jericho for the FTW Championship again. And then the Casino Gauntlet match, which Ricochet might make his debut at Wembley Stadium, which that'd be pretty cool to witness Ricochet. And then the Trios Championship match, the Patriarchy versus the Bang Bang Gang or House of Black.
they haven't
It
decided
probably
that
is
yet.
gonna- They're doing an angle right now where Christian was the special referee for the number 1 contenders match on Collision, and he came out in a turtleneck, ref turtleneck. It was incredible. But then double counted out both teams and then attacked them afterwards. So we don't know yet. More of a build. But he is doing incredible shit right now. Let me tell you. We got Sean saying, pretty sure it's 1 p.m. Sarah because it's in England, so you won't miss the Pats game.
Oh, 1 p.m. Eastern.
So it'll be 10 a.m.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I'll have to see what I'm doing. And I don't know, how do I watch it? Like how
Oh, I would buy it, then you would watch it through my login to Bleacher Report.
oh, okay. And
Yeah,
then just
if I'm gonna make you watch it, I'm not making you pay for it.
I would have to take long bathroom breaks during a few of those matches.
That's fine, Sarah. That's fine. You gotta
'Cause
get yourself something to eat.
Yeah,
Hydrate yourself. I get it.
I cannot watch matches that would literally be my personal hell. I can't do that. I can't
I get
do
it.
it.
Oh, I get it. It's fine. So
And yes, he said it's Eastern time. So yeah, it would be 10
So it'd
a.m.
be 10 a.m.
I
Okay,
don't
that sounds good.
miss those start times for PLEs, that's for sure.
Gotcha.
But
I could do All In into a Kenny Chesney concert would be.
I mean, like I said, when
be
we've talked about this before, I'm
primo.
not going to complain about early start times because, you know, the UK and every other country, like they get pay-per-views and stuff at like 1 a.m. So like I'm not complaining.
I will never complain. I will
I know.
never
Yeah.
complain about a start time after learning about that.
I'll have
what
to
you said.
see. I
never
might
will.
not be able to watch it in real time just because I have to work on Sunday, but I will have to look at what time, like what my schedule will be like that day, because I might have to start later because of the Patriots game. So it might be okay. But we'll see, because obviously I have a job. So
And now I got my job off that day. Thank God.
oh, the game starts at 5 my time. So yeah, I'd probably not work until like 1 or
Yeah,
something.
you'd be good.
Yeah.
Bump, 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 bump,
All right.
bump, 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 bump. I'm singing his song, so
Bum,
that's
ba-da-dum.
why. Bump, 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 ba-da,
Bum,
ba-da,
ba-da-dum, dun,
bump.
dun, 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 dun,
Bye
dun,
bye.
dun, 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 bum, bum. This
Bump.
bums me out, honestly.
I know it does. Bobby Lashley, it is official today that he is no longer with WWE. And I'm pretty sure that him and MVP, John Franklin's favorite wrestler, uh, they put in a trademark for the Hurt Business.
I don't blame them. See, that's the thing. Like, I'm so torn on this. Like, I'm bummed because I wish that things had gone better for Bobby in WWE, and I feel like it might have been almost like an issue that he was on SmackDown because of the Bloodline dominating SmackDown, and then Cody winning the title obviously put him at the forefront of SmackDown, so it kind of buried Bobby. Like, if we're gonna go sports talk, it buried him on the depth chart, so it was like really hard for him to really do a lot at the caliber of talent that he is, because he should be in the main event. He should be going for the title,
Yeah.
But when the title is either on Roman Reigns for almost 4 years or it's going to be strapped to Cody for the foreseeable future, there's nothing that he can do to stand out or to get that opportunity. So, like, I get why he would want to leave and pursue other things. But yeah, I think that it's odd for Triple H to get to a point where he was okay with Bobby leaving. Like, you couldn't have come up with anything to get him to stay.
Suck.
Like,
I mean,
there's
it's more
nothing.
options for them. It's really more options for him outside of the WWE world. And I mean, from reading this, they trademarked the phrase "hurt syndication." So not hurt business, obviously, because that's probably a WWE thing, but hurt syndication, and it's filed under the trademark. It's totally harmless concept, which is the same company that it trademarked MVP and Ghetto Strong Style. Ghetto Strong Style was his like moniker, MVP's moniker, when he went over to Japan.
I feel like there's another word for business that sounds better than syndication. That sounds
Federation.
Yeah, I don't like that. Yeah, hurt. Yeah, something that's
syndication.
Yeah.
Synonyms.
And then they'll have Shelton because he's a free agent. It's just Cedric Alexander is still in WWE.
I think he's gone soon.
Yeah,
I think he's gone soon.
It's possible, which is unfortunate because I didn't even realize that the Hurt Business was something that never got to be in front of a live audience until we were at Wally Mania. Like,
Isn't that insane?
I never put 2 and 2 together, because when you think about the Thunderdome era, like, there's not a lot of things that you think about fondly during that time. I mean, WWE were doing the best that they could given the situation that they were in.
Was pretty cool.
But a lot of whatever happened during that time didn't last until people came back. And the Hurt Business didn't feel like it was that long ago or really during that era. So when they said that, I was like, oh my God. So I don't blame them, because I do think that that is a group that would have done better.
They would have thrived.
I mean, more so than like the Final Testament or the Pride, which they were trying to push. I feel like
Pride was tough. That was the worst.
Yeah, they were trying, but it just nothing hit the way that the Hurt Business would have.
The Hurt Business.
The Hurt Business. Yeah, but
I would love to see Bobby Lashley go to MLW. I
see
would
him. I don't
love to see him go to MLW.
or the NWA. I don't think he's gonna go to AEW. I don't see
No,
that happening. But he could go after
no.
that title on your shoulder.
That would be pretty cool.
He also
'Cause
has
then
been in TNA, right?
Yep.
So that
He won every title in TNA at one point.
yeah, so he could go do that. That would be quite a return, you know? So he definitely has options. I just don't see him in AEW. I could be completely wrong, but I don't see him being an AEW guy.
No, he's not. He's
Like
not.
not
They
even
wouldn't
not
know what to
just
do with him.
him personally not being there. I feel like Tony
No, the
would
fit. It doesn't
yeah,
fit
it just
anyway.
doesn't it does I mean Tony would want him simply because he's a
He's a star.
a
Yeah, like,
recognizable
that's
name with
smart.
WWE.
Yeah, that's a smart
But
way to
yeah,
want, but
but I think that as far as fit goes, that wouldn't be a better
no,
situation for him than WWE. Like,
not like toothpaste and orange juice. Not it.
sure. Yeah.
Lucha Brothers. All right, they're still all elite. All right, there's a lot of talk going on about Penta was supposedly supposed to be in Orlando,
This is
and
probably what Tony was
he's-
talking about, by the way.
yeah, and it clicked to me as soon as you I went, oh yeah, oh, it like hit, what I mean? It
Mhm.
clicked. So yeah, it was supposedly he was in Orlando, and Penta came out and tweeted that Penta is all elite. Like he's presently in all elite. That's where he is.
But
That's where his
yeah.
mind is. And it is being actually reported too that he's taking the stand more or less so that his brother Ray Phoenix does not have any contractual issues as his contract winds up with AEW. And what he means by that is, he's been hurt for a while, so they could add on injury time, and
Mhm.
they can do a lot of stuff to your contract
Yeah.
because you've been injured, haven't been on TV and whatnot. You don't really have the upper hand. So if this is the case, I don't. Can I just be honest, flat out, I don't care until it happens because we've seen so many of these talks, go up and down, and this person's going here and whatnot. I mean, we thought that MJF at one point was going to show up at WrestleMania. You know what I mean? Just because of this,
We thought Osprey
we
was
thought-
going to be going to WWE. So
exactly. You never know. So my stance now, my logic has been that until I see them walk through Gorilla and onto the screen, I don't believe it. I can't. It's
yeah.
nice. It's nice to hope and want because you have to have that as a wrestling fan. You're a fan at heart.
Mhm.
But when you are on the stage that Sarah and I are on, you have to realize that nothing is actually true until it happens right in front of you.
And this is I think this is something that I mean, this wouldn't be as big of a deal as I think some other people jumping ship, obviously from AEW to WWE, but I do feel like they are a big enough deal that they would want to keep it under wraps as long as possible, So I also don't blame them for trying to shut down the rumors because you don't want anything to happen, but you also, it's like if it is happening, you don't want to get people excited about something that like you want to keep, as I said, under wraps. But yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see if it does happen because we've talked a lot about how this could be a good move, this could be a bad move to go to WWE simply because of the style of wrestling that they do, because they're a tag team and tag teams are not really thriving in WWE right now. So definitely something worth watching, I would say, like to see what inevitably happens.
Oh, absolutely. You got to keep your finger on the pulse of that because when that deal goes down, that's a big deal. Like, I mean, we don't even know if the Motor City Machine Guns are even going to WWE. That's all legend too.
Yeah, but what I do think is funny about Tony getting so upset about it is like, I get the whole idea of, okay, you're under contract, you can't be talking to other places, whatever. I do think that he thinks that he has like a football mindset and thinks that also applies to to wrestlers, which maybe that's in their contracts too, but that's like such an NFL thing or like sport thing that he seems to think applies to wrestling.
It does. Yeah, it
But
does apply.
I also think that he's foolish to think that like these guys maybe their time is up, or he's not trying to give them a new contract with AEW, and that they're somehow supposed to just sit there and not try to explore their options outside of AEW. Like if they're still trying to wrestle, they're going to be trying to go to WWE or to TNA or to wherever, like you can't act like that's not a possibility. So to get all up like, oh my God, they're still under contract. Like, shut up, bro. You know that you've talked to people in WWE that were still under contract with WWE to come to AEW. Stop.
Everyone talks.
Like, as I said, the most recent example is probably Edge. You are definitely talking to Edge before he was done contractually with WWE. Even if he wasn't on TV, because he wasn't on TV for a month until his contract expired. You really want to tell me, Tony, that you weren't speaking to him? Stop trying to act like you're innocent in this. They're gonna do it because this is their career,
it's their livelihood. It's how they make a living.
Their life. Yeah.
I really want them to come. I really want them to come to WWE. I need that cero miedo in my life. Fun fact, it's George Kittle's favorite wrestler.
Huh.
It's Cero Miedo. Is Dirty Dom the best heel in wrestling? After Impulsive and after the recent events that have gone on, both on screen and on social media with Dirty Dominic Mysterio, I actually believe he might be the best heel in wrestling right now.
What I think is fascinating about him, to say that he's the biggest heel or the best heel, whatever, is that he's like not the stereotypical over the top hateable heel, the way that MJF can be, when he is in full heel mode, like he doesn't really have to do anything and you just hate him. You see his face, you hate him. But he also does the old school, like the grabbing of the low hanging fruit to get you to hate him. And Dom doesn't do that, and he doesn't have to, but like that's why I think it's what makes him so fascinating, because it's not easy to be a heel in today's landscape of wrestling because of how accessible the wrestlers are to people with social media and the internet. It's like you can't escape them, and it depends on who you ask, but kayfabe is dead, because of that. So people know that in real life, Dom is a really nice guy. The things that he does for fans at meet and greets and whatever. Huh?
It was like a really nice post about him on Twitter or Facebook or something I saw where he legit made these two kids day or something. It was unbelievable.
So that's what I mean. It's like
he's the most hated man in television. Like, that's just nonsense.
If they wanted to, they would ask him to not do shit like that. You know what I mean? To like blow the kids off or whatever. And if this were the 90s, then hell yeah, he'd be doing that. But that's not like how things work. And so the fact that he is able to do that and still be so hated when he's on TV, like people I don't think give him enough credit for how difficult that is to do now, where it wasn't in the 90s because there wasn't the internet the same way that it is now. It's like they're not, it's printing your face on the newspaper. That's not getting you hate to the same degree as the way things are now. So, I think, in this interview with Logan Paul was interesting because he did go in and out from being like Dominic and Dirty Dom. It was like,
he did go in and out. It was very
it depended on the question and the answer,
when he's telling a personal story as Dominic Mysterio about how he was in the ring for the Eddie and Ray feud, and he's talking about how Eddie is gonna give him the backhand, and then Ray comes up to push him away, and the ref takes him out, and he goes, "Yeah, my deadbeat," just without a hesitation. It was like that. That's a star. Like that's just, he gets it, and Oh, I legitimately believe he is the best heel in wrestling right now.
And he's grown so much, which when we said, I think we were live streaming when he turned. Did we live stream? Were we live streaming when he turned on Edge and Ray? I feel like we were.
Were we live streaming for Clash at the Castle? Were we really?
I feel like we were, but maybe we weren't. I don't know.
I feel like
but
that's
anyway,
such a random one that we would have done, but I'm not. It's not out of the realm of possibility.
just because we knew that if he was going to turn on them, he was going to do it that night. But I don't remember.
Oh, but then that was the night Solo debuted.
Yeah. I don't remember. But anyway,
Crazy.
he's come so far from that moment, and we said that is something that he needed to like continue his career, to like break free of, being in Ray's shadow and to really become more of an interesting character in wrestling. And it's so he's grown so much that even when Rhea Ripley was doing an Instagram live Q&A and they asked her about him, like someone said, "Do you hate Dom?" And she was like, "No, I don't think I could ever hate him, because we've been through so much, and I've seen him grow, and I'm so proud of him." And it's like, she's kind of in character but kind of not, and that just tells you like how nice and enjoyable of a person he is in real life. But then how proud they are to see how far he's come. I mean, his dad gushes about him when he's doing interviews too, because he doesn't do them as Rey Mysterio, So I don't know. I think he's a very fascinating person in wrestling. And I told you, I've become like obsessed. I'm like obsessed with Dirty Dom right now.
You want to get a shirt?
I know. I'm obsessed.
I can't. It's unbelievable. What's next? I don't know at this point what company Joe Hendry is actually under.
I know.
I don't get it. I mean, the man has his own collection on Peacock. He's appeared, I'm pretty sure, consecutively for like 3 weeks, maybe 2. I don't even know. It's consecutively on NXT. And then he's a TNA contracted wrestler and was in their world title match, pinned the world champion, didn't become champion, but still
now he's
pinned the
trying
world
to
champion
become the number 1 contender to the NXT
for the NXT championship. Like, this man might be one of the most viral wrestling sensations, I say, in the last 25 years. That they're like, I've never seen anything like what we are seeing with Joe Hendry, and I don't know how to fully put my emotions about it into words, but every time I see someone talk about it, or if I see his face and sing the song, I clap along every time. It's the best thing you could possibly have if you're a wrestling fan, because it's that one thing that is you could throw to your non-wrestling friend, and they're gonna be into it because, like, fuck, that's catchy, or shit, that's all. Like, they're into it too because of how catchy it is.
Say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry.
What?
Do you want me to spoil SmackDown for you, or?
I guess.
Well, oh my god, they're wearing headsets.
Is it Pretty Deadly?
Oh my god, yes. Oh my god.
They're wearing headsets?
Sarah, they're in the opening segment.
Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm so excited. Ugh, okay.
Oh my god, she's on a throne. Sorry, I will rein it in, but
okay.
SmackDown just started. And
so what I was gonna say is we've talked about how interesting it is that TNA has been so lenient, I don't know, with how much they're allowing WWE to utilize Hendry on NXT every week, or in graphics or promotions, whatever. And I still am amazed by that, but I do think that they see the benefit they're receiving benefits from that too. It's not just like a one-sided thing, like as great as it is for Hendry to be featured in WWE television, it's just as good for TNA because everybody knows that he is a TNA talent at the end of the day, even if we are questioning it because of how often he's in NXT. So they're going to be reaping the benefits. But I also think he is like if I had to choose anybody right now to be in this position, it's Joe Hendry. Like it makes so much sense for him to be that guy that's on NXT practically every single week. It just makes sense and people want to see it. That's the thing, is like the fandom for Joe Hendry doesn't stop at people who watch TNA on a regular basis. It is now becoming, I mean, he's on WWE TV. His face is flashing before Raw. It's like it's growing across just the Wrestleverse, as we call it. But I would be interested to see if, because of how much they are using him in NXT and in WWE, if this means that there is going to be an eventual slide over. Like, it kind of feels that that's what they're doing. Like, they think, or they already know that maybe whenever his contract is up with TNA, they're going to take him on. It just feels like they might know a little bit more than what we know, obviously, because nobody else is being featured as much as him from TNA. No one else has gotten a playlist on Peacock. No one else is being no one else is having their photo flashed on Raw. You know what I mean? And I get it's different, but you know what I'm saying? Like, we're not.
It's 100. You can keep going. You're 1,000% right.
Yeah. So it just feels like, we don't know the details of contracts the same way that we do in sports. So I don't know when his contract is up with TNA, but I really would not be surprised if there's already been maybe even a verbal agreement or a conversation about him coming to NXT. I'm fine with that. I don't know how well it would. The only reason I say this is because it hasn't always worked in the past, so that's why I'm just not sure. But I don't know how well the Joe Hendry gimmick will do once it gets onto the main roster, because similar gimmicks, characters, whatever, that are kind of trendy and whatever you want to say, have flopped or were not. They were hot for like a month and then they weren't.
They fizzle. Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if he's also a little bit reluctant because of that, and I don't blame him. Like, history has shown that it doesn't always do well, but then there are those ones that it's like, okay, yeah, this is working every single week, so just keep doing it, and he could become that guy that you're like, oh, okay, like Fandango didn't do very well, or Fandango, but once they made him with Tyler Breeze, the Fashion Police was a hot hit. You know what I mean?
SmackDown on the Blue brand.
Yeah, and that was something that no one would expect, but they got over. So I don't know.
I wonder if they are using Hendry right now in NXT and the contract to bump him to main roster when like they sign him. You know what I mean? Like, keep trying this out so that it's like all right, how long does this stick? It's gonna be very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And for the whole TNA WWE partnership experience, how's it going for the fans? Well, I subscribed to TNA Plus and watched TNA last night before falling asleep. So they got a fan because of this. It's working.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not that much of an oddity. All right. So
are Pretty Deadly on commentary, or what are they doing?
They are part of Naya's championship celebration.
Oh
my god, they're dancing like
they
do. I will say they're killing the outfit. Like, the fit that they were going for, crushed it.
I'm obsessed with them.
Pretty sure they're wearing pearls, which is even funnier.
Everything about them is amazing. Oh my god. Hold on, I'm seeing it. Oh, I just got a glimpse.
Oh my god, is my favorite.
Oh my god, I don't even care if they're like
Kit?
What?
The blonde one.
No, that's Elton.
Elton is my dog.
Kit is my guy. I love them both, but Kit, I think, is like a little understated. And I mean that, like, I know it sounds ironic, but I just mean as far as like their comedy goes or whatever. I think Kit is kind of like people. Elton is a little bit more vocal, but Kit is pretty funny. Okay, stop reacting because we have a show.
I'm reacting. Yeah, I'll save that one for another day because it's not really a big deal. And I'll bring this one up because we are in SmackDown right now. Adam Pearce went on. It was Chris Van Fleet that he was on, and they just teased potentially a match between general managers. It was never possible, really. Like, I mean, they probably did it, and I just forget. But I mean, it was Paul Heyman and like Eric Bischoff. You know what I mean? Like, they were prominent figures in wrestling,
At
but
different
not
times. Yeah.
for not wrestling.
Yeah.
These dudes were wrestlers who then evolved into these authority figure roles. I would love to see a match like this at Survivor Series, where if you do War Game, you got to do War Games again. You got to keep with this. But if you do brand supremacy with it, you got to add this into it.
Yeah, I think it's fun because, you know, Adam said that he's seen and heard the people saying like, "Oh, this has to happen" and whatever, and he's like, he said never say never. So, you know, he's like, as of right now, am I going to try and push that? No. And he's like, is Nick going to try and do that? No. And he's like, but if that were something that was brought up to them, he's sure that neither one of them would say no. It just has to make sense for the time. And I think it is like a testament to the knowledge of WWE fans that I think often goes like unsaid, that a lot of people think WWE fans are only WWE fans, but no, people know about Nick Aldis and people know about Adam Pearce. Like, even if it is just recent, you know, they know that they were NWA champions. They know that they were both former wrestlers, you know, so like the idea of them facing each other wouldn't be like, oh, it's Michael Cole versus whoever,
It's
you know.
so, yeah.
You know,
It's not a bathroom break.
Yeah, this would be like a legit match. And to me, I think that's a little bit more exciting than the stereotypical, you know, GM versus GM that we've seen throughout history. I think that this would actually be something that would make sense and would be fun to see.
Finally makes sense.
Yeah,
finally makes sense.
And cool for them because neither one of them ever really were ever in WWE as wrestlers. You know, so that would be pretty cool for them, like to actually have a match on WWE television, whether that's on Raw, SmackDown, or a PLE. Like,
I remember cool. Nick Aldis as Magnus.
I know, same
in TNA, which is hilarious.
Such a horrible name.
That is a terrible name.
Yeah,
that is awful.
And it wasn't a Vince McMahon name. That tells you a lot.
It was kind of worse. It wasn't Dick. Yeah, it was Dixie Carter. It was a Dixie Carter name.
Yeah, it's a terrible name.
Tells you all you need to know. All right, well, that just brings us to the 1, 2, 3 count. And Sarah, I'm gonna keep it fun this week on the 1, 2, 3 count. 1, everyone our age, maybe not these Gen Zers or Gen X or the people who have wrestlers in their Twitter, Insta, whatever pictures, profile pictures. Remember, but Backyard Sports was probably one of the most revolutionary gaming franchises of all time. All right, you remember them from Backyard Baseball, football, soccer, you name it, they had it, even skateboarding. But they never had wrestling, obviously for obvious reasons. I get it. But, you know, we're in a different time. I'm only bringing it up because they revived, I don't know if it was Humongous or someone else, but they revived Backyard Sports by launching an Instagram page, Backyard Sports Official. And so they're teasing it of some way. And I, as champ of the peeps, but also a massive wrestling fan, would love to see them enter the wrestling world. All right. And I thought it would be a good idea for us to give a couple of our picks of who we think. So I'm going to go with 3 each, Sarah. Okay. 1, current, who we think like currently would fit the Backyard Sports galaxy. 2, legend. Just name a legend. Okay. And then 3, like a personal one. Doesn't have to make sense, but like if they were in the game, you're playing with them first match. So I'll let you first, ladies first, obviously.
So for current, I would say Bailey.
It's a good one. That's a really good one, Sarah.
Yeah.
That's a really good one.
And we need to give more love to Bailey because it feels like she just
We
doesn't get
do.
enough, you know.
No, we do. She's my favorite. The Four Horsewoman.
Legend John Cena.
Yeah, thank God you took that, because if you didn't, I was. So obviously.
And then a personal one. I'm like, maybe I'm gonna go with another girl. I'm gonna go with Becky Lynch. Because I feel like if we're gonna throw girls in, I feel like she's a good one. Especially because, you know, being the man, I don't know, it's like good for young girls.
Oh no, that's definitely inspirational. Absolutely. I think that's
Yeah.
I was like, I'm a man. Yeah. Becky Lynch is the man.
Mhm.
I'm gonna go with currently Sami Zayn.
Mhm.
Sami Zayn would fit the backyard sports world pretty well. I'm gonna go with him there. Legend. I don't know why Mick Foley comes to mind. I don't know
Yeah.
why like that's the first one. No, I'm going Mick Foley. I think Mick Foley would be perfect. Cactus Jack. You know, he gets Mick Foley. Just all 3 characters, the whole thing. And then one that I would love. There's a couple of my like weird favorites, you know what I mean, that I'd like to see. But I'm gonna go with my real, like, legit favorite, AJ Styles.
I feel like I missed an opportunity to say I feel like Pretty Deadly would be so funny.
I thought about Pretty Deadly in there. Pretty Deadly would be hilarious.
Mhm.
Oh, they're showing Fanatics Fest videos. John, I know he's my goat and one of my heroes, but Tom Brady coming out to Hulk Hogan
Whatever. You have to look
really
past it.
pissed me off.
He doesn't know.
He doesn't know, I know,
You
but
gotta look past it.
I know.
And just think
Thank
about
you
it. He
for
picked like a founding father, you know, a Mount Rushmore
I
guy
do
of
have to put
wrestling. If you
I
just think
do
about
have
like
to put
80s Hulk Hogan, that's what you have to think about.
Okay.
Nothing beyond that,
Okay.
you know.
Okay.
Then
Fair.
it
You're
fits
right.
Tom Brady, you know.
It does fit him. Yes, you're right. Sarah, thank you for talking me off that ledge. 2. No, we already talked about who we think. 2. Indie Spotlight. I only want to talk about this because we don't really go in depth with the indies here, but they do deserve our time. And I think the best thing I saw from the indies this week was Alec Price, who I have seen multiple times live, and is one of the future stars of this industry, hands down. He was fighting at Beyond against a former WWE guy in Donovan Dijak. And the way that the stage is set up, look it up. Seriously, look up Alec Price, Dijak, DDT, okay? And you'll find it immediately, okay? But I'm going to describe it for you. Is he jumps from the crowd onto a barricade, from the barricade onto the middle rope, but he jumps on the middle rope and then lands with his back to the ring. Crowd facing out. So he jumped like 180 onto the rope, then jumped onto the top rope, 180. So he's facing the ring, and then hit Dijak with a tornado DDT. It was one of the best moves I've seen in quite a long time. And it like absolutely incredible. He's been doing this shit for the past few years and just keeps getting better. He was the longest limitless champion ever, reigning limitless wrestling champion. And if anyone wants to know what is limitless, well, MJF was the first ever champion of limitless. So yeah, Alec Price, shout out. I cannot wait to see him on national television one day. Cannot wait. And then 3, I'm only bringing this up because we do every week, but also I'm as excited about it because Sarah, you're not a demon anymore.
I know, but does that mean I'm not with Finn anymore?
No, you have no control over him.
That's-
You're probably still like this though, like you got an ally. That's great. Because you share that, but no, you don't have full mind control over
Darn
Finn
it.
Balor.
So I can't make him marry me.
I wouldn't rule that out because
Okay.
anything's possible in the nonsense
Minus
galaxy.
the
He may
fact that
not be married.
he literally has his wife's name tattooed on his hands, but
Yeah, we're talking about the video game, not real life. So maybe in the video game you can marry him.
okay.
But no, the past few weeks been crazy. So the week before where we didn't go live because I was sick and whatnot, we did side quests. We didn't want to talk to Troy yet.
Mm,
I hate Troy Tompkin, as we know here. So we did side quests where we took over Natalia, Katana Chance, and Nikita Lyons. They were called the Beacon, and they were sent to take you out.
that is
Pretty
a
much think
horrific name.
it's terrible. The entrance was even worse, and their getup was worse than that. And then we beat them, and then apparently Blair Davenport had a
Queen.
voodoo doll of you,
Oh,
and we had to beat her, but we didn't. We lost. Blair
oh
Blair
no.
got the best of us because the voodoo doll.
Yeah.
So like we weren't gonna win that one. I mean, it was a voodoo doll. I couldn't even help you in the corner. But then this week, some crazy shit happened where we're out there fighting. We didn't face Oscar. We faced someone before, I forget who, but you didn't have the amulet. You didn't have the amulet on, which is like where your power comes from.
Mm-hmm.
Oscar took it. And then so we attack Oscar in the back. You know,
I did catch that part.
yes, okay, so you were the one viewer then. So we beat up Oscar, do our finishing move, and then we do a cutscene where we're about to take back the amulet, and then poof, it disappears. And we're like, what the fuck is going on? So we're about to fight Oscar, pretty much for the amulet. Or the power of darkness. I don't know. This shit got way above my head of nonsensical. All right. I was just along for the ride. So we're about to go out there for the match. Text from Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss is like, we need to talk ASAP. But you're like, after the match. And then it's like, no, now it's like after the match. Like that's kind of how I envisioned your character talking when I
Okay.
can't hear them. You were like, you saw it. It was terrifying. So you and Oscar put on like a 4.5-star banger, really good because you're dominating. And then it gets to a cutscene where you're using the soul. Yeah, your signature move at this point or finisher was the soul siphon, where you just rise and just suck the soul out of them. So you're
Okay.
doing that to Asuka, and then Asuka starts doing it to you. So it's like a fight between who can siphon who faster.
Who can suck who
And
faster?
you said it, not me. So we win, but then we collapse. But before, like, we get the win because then you like mind control the ref to count the 3, but we didn't. We were just standing there as Oscars. It was very weird. Got to watch the visual when I put the clips up on the YouTube channel because it's weird as hell.
It
And then
sounds
we
weird.
pass out. All of a sudden, it goes from the ring to the trainer's room. We're out of the getup. We're our great, beautiful self all over again with the blonde hair, the face, no makeup or anything. It's just your face. And we're talking to Alexa, and she's like, yeah, you have been feeling weak because the darkness that was inside you, whatnot, has manifested itself and it's personified essentially.
Oh.
So, yeah, the only way to get rid of it is to beat it. Literally. So we had a match with it. And that's what
Okay.
ended the show. And Sarah, I'm not kidding. When this was the creepiest looking thing I've ever seen. And then it was literally like a Bray Wyatt type match, seriously, with like the lights were out, the flickering light. It was very eerie. But guess what? We defeated our demons and we are back to being the bad gal. Thank God. I couldn't do it. All right. I couldn't do it anymore. It was just like, I loved how you were like, yeah, or I loved how it was like, oh, it's Finn. Like, we're doing like things that you're like, we're into. Yeah. No, but then when we got in like the siphoning, I'm like, this is way too supernatural for me.
Yeah. That's funny though. I would not have expected that to be a storyline in a WWE game.
No.
But hey, I guess that makes it kind of more fun because it's not like, a typical story that would normally be expected.
Oh, it's perfect. It was great. And I loved it from the player perspective, as actually being part of it.
Yeah.
But as the wrestling fan and, obviously talking head here, it was just like, what the fuck is going on? But like, I don't know. That's what makes the game fun.
Yeah.
So next we can I think it's Rhea or Liv.
Oh.
So very timely. Or we can chat with Regal again and see what's going on with him. So
okay.
But a lot has happened, not only over where you are, but also in this Wrestleverse. SmackDown is live right now. We have Carmelo and Andrade going at it. Hell of a move. I can't wait to watch that. We have All In 9 days. Tomorrow is the Limitless Wrestling's biggest show over at the Coliseum in Maine. I tell you, saw Anthony Green. I was at the gym and saw Anthony Green. He's fighting Channing Thomas for the Limitless World Championship tomorrow. So go on IWTV and check it out because it's going to be a hell of a show. I think Brett's in it too. All the great stuff. So, but yeah, thank you guys for tuning into this edition of No Nights Off. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and bell notification to know every time we go live and when we post. And who's this? And thank you guys for tuning in, and make sure you follow us on all social media platforms in the links in the description below. And we'll be back for the SmackDown breakdown. Be on the lookout for that. Thank you guys for tuning in. God bless. Remember that you can do it. All you got to do is try. We will see you for the SmackDown breakdown. Let's go.